September 21st at Wembley Stadium, live on DAZN.
Our national stadium.
Two huge punching Brits for the World Heavyweight title. Been manifesting the Undisputed Championship. He's going to win this fight and then he's going to beat the winner of Furious.
Who knows where Anthony Joshua would have ended up if he didn't have boxing.
That moment when he stepped into Finchley ABC was a moment that changed his life forever.
I use boxing as a path to keep me on the straight and narrow.
Daniel's father, he had a plan. He wanted him to be heavyweight champion of the world.
That was going to be the route for us. Make it out, achieve something big.
The whole industry were labelling Daniel Dubois a quitter.
Daniel Dubois has climbed the tree again. He's rebuilt.
You know, coming out of the darkness, going into the light, and, you know, being the man of the future.
He's world champion.
This will be an amazing fight for as long as it lasts.
This fight is not going to distance.
It's going to be fireworks. Do not blink.
One of the biggest nights in British boxing history.
They can expect a good war, good battle, the battle of spirit, will and determination.
The objective will always remain the same, and that's to be victorious by devastating knockout.
It's going to be a night you'll never forget.
All right then, see you later, yeah? Good stuff. After that, bro. Good stuff there, bro.
Just got to play, man.
Yeah. You got going straight to the stadium now? Yeah, go straight to the stadium now and then...
What for to a face-off?
Face-off, bro, you know.
Yeah.
You ready?
Wow, this is full on, bro.
Yeah, straight out of the plate. I'm not winning, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
Straight to work, bro, innit?
Work. Back to bait.
All right, champ?
Yeah.
So you're a champ today?
Yeah.
IBF champ, right, son?
Yeah.
We have some big breaking news. The new IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Dubois, will be defending his title against Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium on the 21st of September.
AJ against Dubois is really the classic. Two fast punching, big punching heavyweights that can switch your lights off like that.
Who's got the biggest heart and who's got the mindset to win this fight?
The first boxing gym I walked into, I was probably about 14 or 15 with a coach called Ricky English. And all boxing was to me was just a graft. I was like, I can make more dough doing less. So straight away I was like, the same for me. Early family life, brilliant, because outside was England, inside the house was Nigeria. So I was exposed to different cultures early on. Meriden means a lot to me because there's no place like home. When I went out of the house, that was like my big playground.
And that moment when he stepped into Finchley ABC was a moment that I think changed his life forever. It's not unusual to hear from a boxer's mouth about how boxing changed or saved their life. And I think in Anthony's case, he was perhaps heading down the wrong path, got himself in trouble with the police at a time where he started to find boxing.
Who knows where Anthony Joshua would have ended up if he didn't have boxing to fall back on.
It was all a whirlwind to me becoming an Olympian, because it was only 3 years I was an amateur. So from the time I walked into the gym to now competing for Great Britain, it was just an unbelievable turnaround. I thought let the fun and games begin.
When he brought back the gold medal from the 2012 Olympic Games, it was life-changing for him. And from there on in, he's been under this microscope.
The gold medal did change everything. It's been a brilliant honour representing Great Britain. Going through the Great Britain team, they gave me a ladder to climb up on. And without that ladder, I wouldn't be able to stand on top of the hill. So I appreciate it. And that's why, even though I'm not perfect, I try to do my best to be a good representative of British boxing.
That's a lifestyle that's continued and only grown over the decade.
There's not a place this guy can go unnoticed. He's the face of multiple brands.
Yes, AJ.
How about you? Where you been?
And he's an ambassador, a role model, and that's difficult to do, especially when you didn't sign up for that.
September the 21st, Wembley Stadium, live on DAZN. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois.
Alpha male business now. September 21st, it's going down.
Okay, cool.
Boxing's been my main goal and been part of my life from very young, really.
He started at 5 or something, and he's been doing it ever since.
Daniel was one of 11 children raised principally by his dad in and around South London.
He's had that discipline from my dad, that guidance, and it's still there for me today, so I'm very grateful, very lucky. He had a business himself and selling artwork, lots of different pictures and posters.
I've really got a good eye for arts and anything artistic.
I wasn't the best trader, but I enjoyed watching my father. He was a master at it. He was the best in the world.
This is usually where I wake up first thing in the morning, get on that. Yeah, I could do it. I could bang out a good few, mate. We should go toe for toe, innit? Let's go have a little competition. He looks like a big lad, so I wouldn't mind him. Just did a lot of sports. We used to train at Crystal Palace, so everything, all the facilities there we use it, you know, track and field, you know, javelin, everything. I love sports. Anything sporty and you know, keep your body in shape. Yes, that's me. That's my character.
Homeschooled by his dad and influenced to go into boxing gyms in and around London by his dad.
That was going to be the route for us, you know, to make it out, to achieve something big.
He wanted the best for his son, and he made decisions that followed that kind of passion.
Yeah, Germany, Brandenburg boxed up, lots of different national tournaments, junior ABAs.
I grew up around it from a young kid, representing England and GB. So I was well in it, but professional is where we needed to go. And no regrets about that, and we made the right decision.
The first time I heard about Daniel Dubois was when he was probably about 16 and a half, 17. I was told he had a very interesting spar with AJ.
People say he rocked me, people say he dropped me. Around that time, there was about 15 heavyweights saying that they dropped me.
That was 7 years ago. I can't even remember what happened then.
I then sort of very quickly arranged a meeting to meet with him and signed the deal.
When Daniel Dubois turned pro, there were a lot of expectations put on his young shoulders.
It was difficult to match him. He's such a powerful puncher, and I think it was in his first 15 fights he stopped all but one of them. Stan, he had a plan from the beginning that he wanted him to be heavyweight champion of the world, and that's what he focused on.
Everything is a beginning, that's what an end. And hopefully Daniel ends Anthony's reign at the top, and he can go off nicely into the sunset and enjoy what he's accomplished.
I love the partnership between Ben Davison and Anthony Joshua. One of the best minds in all of boxing.
I think the biggest things when you work with somebody that's achieved amazing things like AJ already has, it's just a case of helping them understand their skill sets, strengths, weaknesses. I think that really clicked with him.
Me and Ben are on the same wavelength, so when I take him crazy ideas, he's already had that in his mind anyway, and he's ahead of the game, Ben Davison.
I think we're seeing AJ so confident as he's been in the last few fights purely down to the way Ben Davison approaches fight, uses tactical analysis and video analysis to oversee everything in camp.
We study a lot of fights, and I think it's something that AJ is very receptive to. By the time these situations occur on fight night, it's drilling them and it becomes instinctive.
And in an instant, it's all over.
From the Hellenius knockout to the Wallin display.
Anthony Joshua gets his 24th knockout, and boy, did he make it look easy.
To then destroying Ngannou, to knock him out the way he did, just shows you that we have probably not an old Anthony Joshua, but a new and improved Anthony Joshua.
When you're knocking guys out like the Ngannou knockout, and the situations and scenarios are playing out just like you've been drilling and working on and going over in the film study, of course, it's going to give you a lot of confidence.
Lights out! Wow! Anthony Joshua!
I love the relationship between Anthony Joshua and Ben Davison. There's chemistry, but this is their toughest test. Daniel Dubois is on form. He's exercised some demons.
Daniel Dubois has climbed the tree again after taking the knee against Joe Joyce.
Daniel was in front on the judges' cards. He took the knee because he had a big problem with his orbital bones in his eyes.
What was going through Daniel's mind at that time? Only he can answer that question.
I've spoken to many people about it that have had that similar injury. And they say, look, you take a couple more, you don't see out of that eye.
The reality is, he took a knee and he didn't get up. And that showed a weakness.
Fair or not fair, Daniel Dubois got the label that he was a quitter.
Well, everyone's got something to say, you know, when you take an L. I heard a lot of people coming out and talking.
He was out of the ring for quite a while and he had to deal with it. And it was a tough time for him, there's no doubt about that. But, you know, as I said to him at the time, you have to now show what you're all about.
This is a new gym. It's on a farm. We've only been there for about a year. And when you're training all the time, it's good to get away from the hustle and bustle, I suppose.
I've been in the industry for 20 years and I've been waiting for such a fighter. I want you to hurt me, Dan. Don't feel sorry for me.
1, 2, 3, it's this.
We needed a guy that was, you know, working with heavyweights, big heavyweights, and he's got a track record. We thought he was a good choice and it's worked out so far. It's a good combination.
It's unmeasurable, the power, freakish sort of power in both hands, hence why his name is Dynamite. He's got dynamite in both fists. We've been together nearly a year, starting with the Usyk fight. I always say we won the fight before we lost the fight.
He had the solid showing against Usyk, somewhat controversial.
Daniel caught him with that shot, which hit him on the belt line. The referee stopped the fight. He gave him just under 4 minutes to recover. And Daniel basically lost heart. I think the referee got to him.
And at that stage, it was decided by many that he simply didn't have the resilience to get through nights like that.
We then decided that we were going to make the Miller fight.
That Miller fight was definitely a must-win. There were times during that fight where the going got quite tough.
Is that not good science for Dubois?
He just felt to me he wasn't listening. I then knew then I had to get his dad.
Come on, Dad, wake up!
I hear that voice, I know, you know, it's on to have that voice and the person that can speak to you while you're in the storm.
Sensational finish here, and he's done it!
Had those instances against Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk not happened, he might not have been able to dig so deep. And that was reinforced in the fight against Filip Ergovic.
The first 3 rounds was not the game plan.
Oh, he's caught him again! Took him out of Dubois. This is target practice with the right hand.
How would you rate his power?
You want to get hit in the chin? That's the best way to test it. You know firsthand.
Once we started doing what the game plan was, the fight just turned.
Oh! Incredible! How is Hrgovic still standing?
That was a good win for me and I passed that challenge, I passed that level.
Daniel Dubois has stopped Filip Hrgovic.
What a beautiful way for Daniel to answer all the critics. And don't think any questions of quitter could ever be mentioned with his name.
He was the interim IBF champion. Usyk had a rematch clause with Tyson Fury, so he decided that he would vacate the title, and that then elevated Daniel into the #1 spot. He's world champion. I think he looks at this fight with AJ to confirm that he is a world champion.
I promise you, we are going to retain what we've worked hard for on the 21st of September at Wembley Stadium.
Not long now until Wembley hosts 96,000 people for the biggest fight of the year.
What will it be like to return to Wembley?
Another day in the office, really.
Wembley Stadium is daunting for a fighter. I mean, it's incredibly exciting, but when you walk out and you see the sheer volume of people there that night, it will make or it will break you. AJ's been there and done it, so for him, that walk, that experience will be heartwarming. It won't be nerve-wracking. It will be an experience that he can use memories of and great performances of. So for us, we can't wait. When he boxed Klitschko, it's the biggest night in the history of British boxing.
Vlad's a very, very, very good fighter. This is a high-paced fight with two big punches. These fights take a lot out of you, and you have to dig deep. You really have to dig deep because there's no other exit except for victory in my mind. So I had to dig deep at times to pull myself back from the depth of hell. The uppercut, it changed the course of the fight. It was quite even up until here. You don't really get caught up in all the hype and enjoyment of conquering land because you know you have to do it again. So for me, it was just like, what's next?
Since he started boxing, his goal is to be the #1 in the division, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
We've dealt with it on numerous occasions, whether it's Wembley Stadium, whether it's Millennium Stadium, whether it's Tottenham Hotspur. AJ's been there and done it. We were one belt short for so many years, and it was a frustrating period. He gave everything against Alexander Usyk, came up short, and that whole dream of being undisputed just whittled away.
Unified heavyweight champion of the world.
Everyone's mocking him and kicking him while he's down, and everyone was just writing him off. And what did he do? Instead of cowering, instead of hiding, instead of quitting, built himself back up, took smart fights.
Rousing ovation for Anthony Joshua back on the winning trail, his arm raised in victory.
But now get this opportunity again at Wembley, IBF title on the line against Dubois, and then of course, hopefully the winner gets a shot at undisputed gold.
British heavyweight title fights have been long in the history of our game.
When you do it for the world heavyweight title, it becomes one of the biggest events in the sporting calendar.
And I remember the first big all-British world title fight that I covered as a journalist and reporter was Lennox Lewis against Frank Bruno back in 1993.
I went with my dad and my granddad, and there was just a buzz. There was real energy. You had half wanted Bruno, half wanted Lewis.
Two great legends of the sport that helped pave the way for fighters like me. A historic moment.
Frank Bruno, strong as an ox, done really well early on. I couldn't sustain that pressure, and Lennox Lewis managed to be victorious.
Chisora wasn't for the world title, but it was an all-British affair.
It was another huge fight, Upton Park, packed out, and that's what happens when you bring two heavyweights together.
They didn't like each other and they had a ruckus at a press conference, and it was a great fight. I remember watching it.
The back and forth between the two fighters before the fight and all the drama and that, real characters, it was exciting to watch.
Unfortunately, Derek came up short and he managed to get the W.
That hurts. It's still the lowest point of my boxing coaching career.
Although it wasn't for a world heavyweight title, Joshua Dillian White was a fight and a night that will go down in the history book.
It was a crossover fight as well, especially for British boxing. It got the attention of the whole of the UK. It was a really good fight, I enjoyed it.
And it was the first time he was involved in a fight that really had beef.
Called me a drug cheat, they said I was fake, said all types of stuff about me. I needed to humble this guy.
Another good British heavyweight dust-up, a good battle. The history between the two guys before the fight was good.
And I took him out in good fashion.
It was an iconic night at London's O2. Tyson Fury against Dillian Whyte, 90,000.
Broke all box office records of any event that's ever taken place at Wembley.
Guys at the top level, making big money, having big fights. It's what heavyweight boxing is all about, and showing you're the governor, and Fury did that.
Big knockout for Tyson Fury and a huge event.
These fights will just whet the appetite for going out there and performing in front of a massive stadium, massive crowds.
They are huge occasions in boxing which grab the world's attention.
Now we have it again, Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois, two huge punching Brits for the world heavyweight title, live on DAZN.
AJ versus Dubois, face off, take one.
Do you want to go now? Let's go.
Relax.
Do you want to go now?
Go. Chair across your face. Don't disrespect.
No, you can't intimidate.
Don't disrespect.
You can't intimidate me.
Don't disrespect.
You can't intimidate
Don't disrespect.
No,
don't disrespect me on my life.
No, it's okay.
Two Brits going for the biggest prize in the sport.
It's chasing undisputed.
It doesn't get better.
This is why boxing, when it's done correctly, is the greatest sport in the world.
When you see close to 100,000 people at the National Stadium, it's going to be a night you'll never forget.
Daniel Dubois is on form. This fight is proper. This is a real live 50-50 fight.
It won't go the distance. Somebody's going to go. Do not blink.
Ready to shock the world again. I'm going to have a lot of doubters, but I want to perform and show what Daniel Dubois is all about.
This man here is going to be successful in defending his title.
I study Daniel, his characteristics, his boxing talent. He will see September 21st.
I love this version of AJ. He's aggressive, he's focused, he's switched on.
I truly believe that the undisputed is AJ's destiny, and it all starts with domination on September 21st, live on DAZN.
Almost time to stop all the talking and get in the ring and fight. Once that bell goes, ding, I can't wait for that.
We'll find out how good and strong he is on September 21st.
Live on DAZN, September 21st, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois fight for the IBF World Heavyweight title. AJ stands on the brink of history to become a three-time world champion. Daniel Dynamite Dubois, Britain's silent powerhouse, stands in his way. An explosive night at Wembley awaits.
Who do you think you are?
Daniel, don't disrespect me.
Joshua versus Dubois. Live on DAZN, September 21st. Buy now at DAZN.com.